Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back to another review of anything. I'm your co-host, Taylour Minster.
And I'm Jake, or just Daikaiju Legends. That's what people call me now, I guess. We're back in a different place. We've changed locations, and we will probably change again. We'll probably change every time we review
just
something.
do one like outside when it's like 20 degrees.
It's like it's pouring down rain. Anyway, we're reviewing Ultraman Geed, the series, not the movie. The movie's not out yet.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I have thoughts on this series, but I'm curious what your overall thoughts are real quick.
So I'm going to give a little brief history of my...
your Ultraman...
My relationship with... Relationship?
Yeah, this guy right here.
With my... I'm going to give a brief history on my past with Ultraman. I had heard about it. First time I got it, I got like the first volume of the first series, and I thought that was the entire volume. Turns out I hadn't seen all of the first series. I was still a fan of it just because a lot of the monsters were wacky and dumb looking.
Yeah, in the original series.
And I just, rather than having to wait a solid hour in a Godzilla movie for the, fight, you get a fight every episode with...
Yeah, the episodes basically revolve around the monsters.
Yeah. I would say it's like nowadays it definitely has touches of like Power Rangers.
And Kamen Rider.
Yeah.
And lots of toy advertisements.
That's something that I was new to when I was watching Geed.
Yeah, we'll get to that though. But yeah, this is the first Ultraman series you've seen
all the way through.
Yeah. So what's your quick and short opinion on it?
It is very stereotypical of like archetypes. It's generic in the sense that, not in a bad way, but generic in the sense that it's predictable with the events that happen. It's B quality entertainment, which is what it is made to be. No pun intended. But, I liked it. It's enjoyable. It gave me stuff to do whenever I was bored. That's kind of the gist of it. I didn't hate it. I don't think it was, of what I've seen, I don't know if there's any better. It's not super amazing. It's, it's passable. It's enjoyable. I'm going to keep talking.
Until I cut you off?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's fair enough. I guess myself, very quick thoughts, because I'm going to get more into my opinion during spoilers and stuff. As a much bigger Ultraman fan, like almost a bigger Ultraman fan than Godzilla at times, I would say.
No one's going to diss it for it.
You sure about that?
I just realized in our Godzilla versus Godzilla Monster Planet review, it's like, what? Another instance that Godzilla's appeared in a Daikaiju Legends video? There you go.
It's the first time this year. Don't get used to it.
Don't.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue.
So, yeah, speaking as a longtime Ultraman fan and someone who's pretty versed into like the entire like world of the series, or multiverse as it is now, I guess, I felt like it was a waste of potential. It wasn't terrible. It was, sort of middle of the road, especially by modern Ultraman is considered. But
I'll say this. Having known a moderate amount about Ultraman, walking around with Jake at G-Fest and just pulling up a random figure from a junk toy bin, he would be able to pick it out and know what series and what name it is.
Yeah.
That's commitment. That's real commitment. And I don't blame you for it. I don't blame you.
Yeah. Anyway, so if you have not seen Ultraman Geed and you want a basic synopsis, a boy named Asakura Riku lives on Earth, and you soon find out that he's an alien, and in fact he's an Ultraman, and he finds a secret underground base, which is helmed by a robot lady voice who gives Riku a Geed riser and Ultra capsules to become Ultraman Geed, the newest toy advertisement in Tsuburaya's lineup. And along the way he meets Tobalaiha, who uses a sword, and Leto, I don't remember his last name, surname.
Businessman.
Leto Businessman, who encounters Ultraman Zero, and they merge. All the while, the AIB, the Alien Investigation Bureau, is trying to figure out why Ultraman Belial might be back, and it might be connected to a goth boy named Goth Boy.
He only becomes goth in the second half. He was pretty dapper in the first.
And his transformation sequences, but we'll get to that. Oh no, Kei Fukuide, Goth Boy, might be the villain. He might be the villain, and he might have a connection to Belial. That's your basic synopsis. Yeah, so I guess starting off, there's a lot of toy advertisement in this series. It's a staple of a lot of modern toku, I think.
So if you couldn't tell, we just finished the review for Monster Planet.
We're wearing the same clothes and everything.
Let's start off with the bad, and then get to the good.
Yeah. Characterization.
What characterization?
The bad characterization. It's kind of a bad sign, that is, when the most interesting characters in your series are the side characters, like Leto and Aizaki Moa, who works for the AIB. You find them to be the most entertaining characters, and both of them are kind of comic relief.
Main character I don't know if it's the writing or the acting, but they're not that special. There's
the premise of the series, which I forgot to touch on, and it's not a spoiler because it's given away at the end of the very first episode, and that's that our protagonist, Ultraman Geed, Akasakura Riku, is the son of Ultraman Belial, who is like the end-all be-all Ultraman villain because he never dies. Which I guess this is an interesting thing to bring up real quick, because as an Ultraman fan, there's a lot of connections to old characters. You have Ultraman Zero, Ultraman King plays a major role in this, which I didn't even touch on that. Ultraman Belial, obviously. I'm curious what you thought of all that, like how, if at all, lost you were because of any of these returning elements that you had no idea.
See, you would probably expect me to be shocked or lost now, but I started to find out that there was more than one Ultraman, and I started to figure out that Ultraman had been continuing since the 1960s, and there was like Ultraman Jack and others.
Among others, yes, there's Jack.
And I was confused that, I guess it keeps going, but to me, they just became new cool costume designs. The new costume design of the week.
Yeah. I mean, thankfully, they don't go as far as to use Ultraman Zero's, 6 other forms that he has. I don't know if you knew this, but
nope.
Aside from a different form Zero gets later on, Zero has about 6 other forms. Belial has some other forms, too, that you don't get to see, but...
It's like it's all a gimmick.
Yeah. Modern Ultraman being a gimmick to sell toys?
I'll support it, though. I mean, it's Suitmation. You don't see that a lot.
Yeah. Which, I think that's one of the... Well, we're going to continue with the bad first.
Yeah.
Before we get into the good stuff. Yeah.
Overall writing, I would say, not necessarily dialogue, although like I said, it's B quality content, and that's what it was. To me, that's what it was meant to be made into. It didn't really look like they didn't really take a lot of risks. They alluded as if they were taking risks. They didn't really
toward the end, there's a couple of risks that they kind of take.
That they could have taken.
Could have taken. We'll get to those later.
But it was just it was the same quality, essentially, from the 60s Ultraman.
To put it this way, as someone who's seen all of the modern Ultraman, that being like Ginga to now, Geed. Well, I mean, aside from Geed, which this isn't a major spoiler, Geed for the first half of the series is a clone of Ultraman Orb. Like, not just in terms of Geed being himself a fusion of other Ultramen, which you haven't seen Orb, but I've told you this before, how Geed is essentially the same series early on, because you find out that Fukude K is summoning monsters and becoming monsters, and every time that Ultraman Geed defeats a monster with the help of what's called a little star, which are these balls of light inside of people that are fragments of Ultraman King, K gains a new monster capsule himself so that he can fuse himself into becoming a Belial fusion beast. And that's exactly what happens in Orb for the first half of the series, where Guy is defeating monsters for Jugless Juggler. Yeah, I don't think I told you that's his name. Anyway, that's a different video. Yeah, so aside from the plot being a carbon copy of Orb for quite a while, and it gets very boring in that manner, yeah, there's a lot of... It's very predictable. A lot of risks that could have and should have been taken, in my opinion, were not taken, and it hurts the series in the long run. And yeah, I feel like it wastes a lot of potential with this cool idea of the son of Ultraman Belial teaming up with the son of Ultra 7, Ultraman Zero. And yeah.
For me, that's all I got that's negative. It's just bland.
Yeah. Which I guess that's probably the worst that I could say about Geed, is that it's bland, mediocre, and predictable. If you're a massive Ultraman fan, you'll probably find it disappointing unless you just eat it right up, in which case, good for you. I wish I could enjoy it as much.
Or if you're bored and need something to watch.
Yeah. I mean, that was a nice thing about the series. It was something to look forward to on Friday nights. I wasn't like dreading having to watch the next episode of Geed. I was at least looking forward to seeing more fun tokusatsu action, which I guess that's a good transition into the good. There's obviously, if you've seen Ultraman in any capacity, they've kept their basic formula of classic tokusatsu. Giant monsters, men in suits, slamming each other into ceramic buildings, sparks flying everywhere.
And I would say that, the biggest positive from the show was not only the monster suits, but the Ultraman suits. Yeah, it's a gimmick that, every other week
there's a new toy
becomes a different form, which becomes a new toy. Mm-hmm. But each of those designs, except for the Acro
Smasher?
I liked all of them except for the Acro Smasher. The Acro Smasher just did nothing.
Yeah, I felt like Primitive, which is Geed's base form, I feel like that's honestly like my favorite of the new generation Ultra designs, compared to like even Orb, which I really like, and Ginga and Victory and X. I just really like how Primitive Geed looks. And thankfully, that's the form that they use the most. Once you get to the second half of the series, Acro Smasher, Solid Burning... He becomes
like a Pacific Rim mech.
Magnificent. The form that is never used.
What is that the king one?
That Magnificent is Father of Ultra with the horns.
Okay, well, the one I'm talking about is the one where he just becomes like a royal king.
Yeah, minor spoiler, Geed gets another form, his final form, where he fuses with his father, Ultraman Belial, and Ultraman King, who is keeping the universe alive. And little teenage Riku gets a beard as Royal Mega Master Geed, which is also possibly the most over-the-top name ever.
Ugh.
Can't wait for the next Fusion Ultra this year, where we get his final form, super duper twirly.
The name just kept getting bigger every week.
Yeah.
But so the Ultraman suits were good. The monster suits or monster fusion suits were pretty nice.
All the practical effects
were
all pretty well done.
All the CG ones.
The CG when it was finished.
Some of them fell flat.
There's a lot of parts in this series where you can tell they did not feel like finishing their visual effects, their CGI.
Whether it's beams or portals that are clipping through people's clothes.
Or Belial fusion beast, like fusion transformation sequences when one monster appears and it's a still image.
Yeah.
There's 2 Belial forms in the series later on where like the 2 monsters appear on either side of the screen and they like come into Belial.
And usually it's like either CG or suits.
It's like, Gamora transforms like roaring everywhere and stuff. There's a form that uses Zogu and Five King. They're still images. So it like opens the capsules and the monsters come out. I'm sorry. That's all it is. And there's other transformations where you can tell they didn't finish putting certain effects on the monsters in Thunderkiller's transformation. That's one thing compared to the recent Ultra series that I noticed is that the visual effects.
But Jake, we're getting to the negative.
I'm sorry. Okay.
We've talked about the positive though.
I think it's a good time to get into spoilers.
Yeah.
We've already kind of touched on stuff, so past this point, you gotta do it with me.
I'm not.
Spoilers!
That was a mistake that I made in the first one.
Spoilers past this point. If you don't want spoilers, bye.
Spoilers. Riku is with a little alien boy for some reason.
Oh yeah, we forgot to talk about Pega. We forgot Pega. The
Talk about that was the one thing I was confused on.
So Riku, we forgot. This isn't even a spoiler. Riku lives with a Pegasa Seijin who wears J. Crew jeans
and like a track jacket.
Yeah, a track jacket, and walks around like a kid in high school with his freaking lanyard hanging out of his pocket, and he makes carnations.
Of all things to be confused on, that is what confused me.
Which, quick explanation, it's just a species of alien from Ultra 7, which this series is the 50th anniversary of Ultraman, or Ultra 7, rather. So there's a lot of references, including Pegasa Seijin being in there. Yeah, Pega serves no purpose other than being cute.
Somewhat comedic relief.
Yeah. He doesn't even sell toys!
Oh, that poor bastard.
Like, they didn't make any Pega toys. There's nothing. You can't even buy a little, like, Spark doll with, like, jeans and stuff on it. You scan it.
That would be the...
And you scan Pega, and he just comes out and like, would you like to buy a carnation?
I would probably cancel my order for the Figuarts Geed in order to get the doll of the alien in jeans and a track jacket.
The DX Pega.
Oh.
Pega has one episode dedicated to his character development. And
he does?
That's the second, third technically episode with Pedanium Zeton.
Who? I don't know the monsters. I don't know the names.
If you remember the episode where Gubira comes up, the monster with like the horn drill, and it's got a little star inside of it.
Was it very early on?
No, this is super late.
Oh god,
this is like right after he gets Royal Mega Master.
I don't remember.
It's the episode where Pega runs away from home.
I don't.
Okay. Yeah, so there's one episode dedicated to Pega.
Okay. But yeah, so he has a little alien boy that's his friend. There's a big monster that attacks the city. Riku runs to safety, but he finds the alien base.
Yeah, this
right.
Isn't any spoilers.
I was just going to talk about like an overview, essentially.
Okay.
So he finds the base.
Yeah.
So this is an overview. Finds the base, learns to become Ultraman, fights monsters, bad guy shows up, businessman helps out with Zero.
Leto businessman.
Sword lady waves around a toy sword. All that happens, and it all leads up to Belial attacking, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I'm segueing for you to tell spoilers.
Yeah, so... okay, where to start with spoilers, I guess. So, I guess... which I wanted to get into earlier was Riku's character development and how terrible it is. So, Riku's story arc, I guess, is supposed to be how he's learning to deal with his father being evil McBelial, and he's like, it's like a coming of age story almost, where he's learning to like grow up, be mature.
I guess
and,
you
like,
could call it that.
Yeah, because he doesn't mature at all throughout the series. Because there's this common running theme where Riku won't do his damn laundry, and he keeps telling Laiha, Sword Lady, who lives with him, to do it. And even like after halfway through the series, when Belial transforms into Chimera Barros, and Geed like gets Ultraman King's power and defeats Chimera Barros, later that episode, Riku's just like, nah, I'm not gonna do the laundry. Like,
That's comedy.
yeah, this entire series felt like everyone was trying to kind of be the comedy relief, except Laiha.
And Goth Boy.
Yeah, and Goth Boy. But you can't help but laugh at Fukude K and his 3 black fingernails. 3.
That poor guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Belial is big, angry, bad man. He comes. He wants to destroy Geed. Tell me when I'm saying wrong things.
Yeah, he wants to destroy Zero first more than anything.
He wants to destroy Zero.
And then destroy Geed.
Then destroy Geed. And all leads up... I'm going to like the last 2 episodes.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All leads up to essentially... Belial shows up, a big portal opens, Geed and Belial go up in the portal, where they have a good son to dad, heart to heart. This is where me and Jake got really disappointed, because...
Me especially.
This is where the risk came in, because him and Belial have a good heart to heart.
Yeah, kind of a heart to heart, because like it's a callback to an earlier part in the series. The first time Belial appears and he like absorbs Geed into his chest as Chimera Barros, there's this scene where it's like this like dark rainy area, and Belial and Riku, like actual Riku, are just punching each other and fighting it out in this like dream world almost. And it is supposed to be like a callback to this moment as like a big emotional climax. So you're like, okay, what are they going to do different now?
And essentially, Belial in that argument, I guess you could say, comes to terms with not wanting to be bad.
Kind of. Like, Riku starts to see Belial's memories for some reason.
Yeah.
Like flashbacks to the Ultra Galaxy movie when he is... like, he tries to take the plasma spark from the Land of Light, which I imagine that's what you were lost on, the flashbacks or whatever.
I just let it happen.
Yeah. So, flashbacks of him, like, trying to take the plasma spark, and he, like, goes and gets possessed by Ray Blood, and he kills Ray Batos at the end of Ultra Fight Orb.
With that dream sequence, which at the time you don't really figure out that it is a dream sequence.
Yeah, I guess it's alluded to, but
you see Ray Blood like leave Belial, and Belial becomes like a regular version.
Yeah, like Riku like comes in and he, like hugs Belial, and he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, you've been revived so many times. You're so mad at everyone. Like, just let it go. And so you think for a moment Subarai is going to take a huge freaking risk and actually convert Belial, because you see Ray Blood leave Belial, and he reverts to like his original form for a moment, which you've been seeing throughout the entire series. Every time Geed transforms, you see Belial's base form, so that I guess that's what it was alluding to. And then they cut back to the next shot, and Belial's he's still Belial, and Geed kills him.
Yeah.
kills him. Because you can't convert Belial because you need to bring back Belial when you run out of more creative villains.
Yeah, and that's what I thought that the Ultraman Geed movie was going to be, where it's like, oh, he's just going to come back.
Surprisingly, so far it's not, based off of magazine scans and the 1 30-second trailer there is. But obviously that hasn't come out, and maybe we'll review that.
And when does it come out?
March.
Okay.
Although we won't get it for many more months. We won't get it ever until someone posts it on YouTube. I mean, don't watch pirated stuff on YouTube. Yeah, don't watch pirates. Pirate movies are rated R. I'm sorry.
That was a bad joke.
I'm sorry. Can you come back?
That was a real bad joke.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So
Ultraman Geed, I recommend it.
Yeah, I don't not recommend it. It's fun. I just wish it had an effect on the overall continuity.
I'll say this.
Or the universe of Ultraman.
I got a Crunchyroll subscription to watch this show.
Yeah.
And there's not a whole lot on Crunchyroll.
I mean, there's a fair amount of Ultraman on Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Ultraman on Crunchyroll, actually.
That's really it, in my opinion.
I mean, yeah, for me too. So, not sponsored, but check out Crunchyroll. You can try it for free with advertisements. That's cool.
Or you could just watch the animes that they have on other platforms.
That is also true.
Basically, we should just cut Crunchyroll.
Well, let's cut Crunchyroll. This is Ultraman Geed review, not a Crunchyroll service review.
Ultraman Geed, you recommend it, I recommend it.
It's enjoyable. I guess before we give final thoughts, favorite episode and least favorite episode that you remember. Yeah, so least favorite is episode, I think it's actually 19, where Rem is taken over by Kay, and she makes her own body or whatever, and she's put in Mecha Gomora. It was just dumb, stupid, boring, and the most filler of filler that Geed could get. Anyway, my favorite is, I think, episode 18, I'm pretty sure, which is Inheritor of the Dream. The episode right after Chimera Barros is killed, and Fukude Kei is amnesic, and everyone's trying to figure out why, and all this other stuff. There's a lot of fun action in it, basically. An alien Dada comes in with his customized Legionoid, or Legionoid, I guess they're calling it in Japanese. And then Zygorg appears, which is fun. And Thunder Killer comes back. It was fun, I guess.
Least favorite episode for me, they all kind of blend. I can't. I don't. For most boring episode, I would say. I don't. I can't pick a bad episode in the sense that I don't really remember all of them. Favorite episode would probably be the one where Galactron's first introduced.
Yeah.
Where Goth Boy traps people in a building.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Either that one or the one with the old man playing PS4.
The old man who's there for 2 episodes just to give Riku the father of Ultra Capsule and then goes away.
Yep.
Presumably dying of cancer. I mean, that's what they allude to, unfortunately. But they never address it. Yeah. So, final thoughts, I guess.
Watch it.
Yeah. I won't say not watch it. It's not bad. I just was disappointed in the end. But I had fun with it. I guess that's about all you can ask for.
This has been another review of
anything.